Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Monday briefing. Copyright expires for early Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Texas vs. Washington preview, predictions, odds, how to watch Sugar Bowl 2024. Competitive pay at TSMC plant may ripple across Japan, beat inflation. Student, 18, died mixing alcohol and ketamine in misadventure. Monday briefing. New York Times. The relationship between the U.S. and Israel is growing increasingly strained as President Biden's backing of Israel is met with resistance from Democrats. Biden and his team have repeatedly tried to steer Israel away from what they see as excessive retaliation against Hamas, but the Israelis have defied them at critical moments. The friction is expected to intensify as the death toll in Gaza rises. Although there is no serious discussion within the administration about changing policy, tensions between Biden and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are rising. The sharpest dispute concerns what to do in Gaza after the war ends. Netanyahu has resisted the idea of a revitalized Palestinian Authority running a post-Hamas Gaza, followed by the establishment of a Palestinian state. In Israel, there is strong support for taking tough action against Hamas, with little concern for the potential consequences. Copyright expires for early Mickey and Minnie Mouse. BBC. The copyright on Steamboat Willie, a 1928 short film that introduced Mickey Mouse, has expired in the US, meaning that anyone can use the earliest versions of the character without permission. However, Disney has cautioned that more modern versions of the character are still protected by copyright. US copyright law allows character rights to be held for 95 years, meaning that the characters entered the public domain on January 1. Other works to enter the public domain on that date include Charlie Chaplin's comedy The Circus and D.H. Lawrence's novel Lady Chatterley's Lover. Texas vs. Washington preview, predictions, odds, how to watch Sugar Bowl 2024. Yahoo! The Texas Longhorns and the Washington Huskies are set to compete in the college football playoff semifinal game at the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Texas Longhorns secured the third college football playoff berth after winning the Big 12 championship title and Alabama defeating Georgia in the SEC title game. The team's star quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., was a Heisman Trophy finalist thanks to his impressive performance during the 2023 season. According to the ESPN matchup predictor, the Texas Longhorns have a 68.6% chance of beating the Washington Huskies in the 2024 All-State Sugar Bowl. Competitive pay at TSMC plant may ripple across Japan, beat inflation. South China Morning Post. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co., TSMC, may boost wage growth in Japan, according to economists. TSMC's $8.6 billion plant in Kikuyo, Kumamoto Prefecture, along with spending plans by other chipmakers, could spark greater investment, competition for talent, and wage growth across the country. The move could help Japan avoid stagflation. Student, 18, died mixing alcohol and ketamine in misadventure. The Independent. An 18-year-old student died after combining ketamine with alcohol during her first night at university, a coroner has ruled. Jenny Larmer died at Newcastle University on October 3, 2020 during Freshers Week. She had snorted the ketamine powder with one of her new flatmates, Kaveh Kaliekaran, who denied supplying the drug. The inquest heard that Ms. Larmer had an alcohol level 2.5 times the legal driving limit and a ketamine level that would not typically cause death, but the combination of the two was lethal. The coroner urged the university to review its induction course on drink and drugs. Stanford closes out non-conference play with a 98-38 rout of Morgan State. Associated Press. Cameron Brink had 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 blocked shots to lead number 9 Stanford to a 98-38 win over Morgan State. Elena Boscana had 14 points and 6 rebounds, and Hannah Jump added 13 points on 6-4-10 shooting as Stanford won its 7th straight home game. Layla Fair led Morgan State with 8 points and 8 rebounds. Stanford coach Tara Vanderveer won her 1,198th career game, moving 5 wins away from the all-time record for career victories in college basketball. Stanford took control of the game early, outscoring Morgan State 29-15 in the first quarter. The Cardinal allowed just 6 Morgan State points in the second quarter and held the Bears to 27.8% shooting from the field in the first half. Stanford's defense forced 20 turnovers, which led to 33 points. Swinney, Clemson RB Shipley has no structural damage in left leg, no surgery necessary. Associated Press. Clemson running back Will Shipley has been confirmed to have no structural damage or need surgery after a scary injury in the Gator Bowl. Shipley stumbled and somersaulted during a kickoff return, but returned to the field after being carted off to celebrate his team's victory. Shipley has not yet decided whether he will enter the NFL draft or return to Clemson for his senior year. Don't give up meat, it's better for your health than you think. Telegraph. Contrary to popular belief, a growing body of research suggests that meat can actually be beneficial for our health if consumed in moderation and cooked with care. A study conducted by the University of Edinburgh suggests that reducing meat and dairy consumption without proper knowledge of alternative nutrient sources may actually increase health risks due to deficiencies in minerals like selenium, iron, and zinc. Furthermore, a study published in the International Journal of General Medicine found that meat consumption does not lead to an early death and may even extend life expectancy. Humans are hardwired to eat animal protein, as it was one of the few nutrient sources available in the past. Additionally, meat can be a convenient and useful source of nutrition as we age, particularly for countering muscle loss. However, not all meat is equal in terms of its impact on health. Processed meats like ham, bacon, and sausages have been linked to an increased risk of bowel cancer, heart and circulatory diseases, type 2 diabetes, and dementia. On the other hand, unprocessed red meat, such as steak and lamb chops, is rich in iron, zinc, and B vitamins, which can be beneficial for heart health and reducing the risk of Alzheimer's. It is important to choose lean cuts of meat and avoid grilling or barbecuing, as high-temperature cooking can produce cancer-causing chemicals. In conclusion, while there are valid ethical and environmental concerns surrounding meat consumption, research suggests that meat can be a part of a healthy diet if consumed in moderation and cooked properly. It is important to choose high-quality, lean cuts of meat and be aware of the potential health risks associated with processed meats. A balanced and diverse diet that includes a variety of plant and animal foods is key to maintaining good health. Trump prepares to claim fraud again with 2024 New Year's message, live. The Independent. Former President Donald Trump has suggested that he will claim election fraud if he loses to President Joe Biden in the 2024 election. In a New Year's message on Truth Social, Trump accused Biden and his administration of attempting to destroy our nation through various means including lawfare, invasion, and rigging elections. He also claimed that they were illegally allowing millions of people into the country in order to secure votes in the 2024 election. Trump is reportedly concerned that some conservative justices on the Supreme Court may rule against him after he was removed from the ballots in Colorado and Maine due to his role in the January 6 Capitol insurrection. His advisors are said to be preparing challenges to these decisions. Trump appointed half of the conservative justices on the Supreme Court and hopes that they will rule in his favor in any future election disputes. Analysts believe that it will be much harder for Trump to try to overturn a loss in the 2024 election compared to his attempts in 2020. The most likely way for him to return to the White House is by winning the election outright. In 2020, Trump attempted to use Republican dominance in swing state legislatures and governorships to send fake electors to Congress, but his efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. Since then, Republicans have lost some of their influence in key swing states, making it more difficult for Trump to challenge election results. C.J. Pearson is back and wants to be a megaphone for conservative values. Yahoo! C.J. Pearson isn't the only black conservative with a large social media following, but he may well be the only one who includes his age in his bio. He's 21, young to be a commentator on PragerU and Fox News, but then Pearson was just 12 when his commentary first went viral in 2014. And he ascended the national stage the next year for another video critical of then-President Barack Obama. Time magazine called him an overnight sensation, and a piece in the Washington Post said that Pearson had shredded Obama. There was talk of him speaking at a Republican National Convention. But within months, Pearson was saying that he was politically independent and CNN would headline a story, viral YouTube star renounces conservatism. Hunting profits or serving an audience? Why Hollywood is obsessed with remakes. ABC. The majority of Hollywood's big blockbuster films slated for release in the next year are remakes, reboots, or live-action interpretations. 8 out of the highest-grossing films of 2023 fall into these categories. Remakes and reboots have always been a part of Hollywood, with studios often producing adaptations of classic literature and stage plays. Remakes are considered less risky because they are a known entity and have already proven successful in the marketplace. Money is the main barrier to getting an original script into production, and studios are more likely to invest in projects with an existing audience or fan base. Nostalgia is also a big motivation for revisiting old stories, as audiences like to see new versions of stories they have always loved. Remakes can be made to reflect shifts in culture and provide more diversity. However, the film industry still has a long way to go in terms of inclusion and diversity. The decision to remake a film can also reflect a moment in culture, such as the feminist retellings of old stories that emerged during the Me Too movement. The film industry feeds off its young and needs new voices and new blood to stay fresh and relevant. Biden exchanged congratulations on 45th year of U.S.-China diplomatic ties. The Globe and Mail. China's President Xi Jinping exchanged congratulations with U.S. President Joe Biden on the 45th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Xi also exchanged New Year's messages with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin. This year is the 75th anniversary of China and Russia establishing diplomatic relations. Xi emphasized the need for China and Russia to strengthen their ties and cooperation. Additionally, Xi stated in his New Year's address that China's reunification with Taiwan is inevitable. Watch, Alabama players are quizzed on Nick Saban trivia. Yahoo! Alabama football players recently participated in a trivia game about their head coach, Nick Saban. The players were asked questions about Saban's accomplishments, personal life, and interests. Some of the players demonstrated a deep knowledge of their coach, while others struggled to answer the questions. The trivia game was conducted by ESPN's Taylor Davis and aired before the Rose Bowl semi-final game between Alabama and Michigan. Pursuing the national interest, Haruhiko Kuroda, 1. Nikkei Asia. Haruhiko Kuroda, who completed his 10-year term as governor of the Bank of Japan in April 2023, has reflected on his time in office. Kuroda joined the Ministry of Finance in 1967 and later became president of the Asian Development Bank before being appointed governor of the Bank of Japan in 2013. During his tenure, he implemented bold monetary easing policies in an effort to end deflation in the country. Kuroda believes that the 2% inflation target will be reached in a sustainable and stable manner this year. She took the hearts of the Danes, Mary's rise from secret Australian girlfriend to queen of a nation. ABC. Mary Donaldson, a former Tasmanian real estate agent, is set to become the first Australian queen after her husband, Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark, ascends to the throne. The couple met in a Sydney pub during the 2000 Olympic Games. Donaldson will be known as Queen Mary when her husband becomes King Frederick X. Dear viewers, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights from across the globe. Let's dive into today's briefing. The strained relationship between the U.S. and Israel is causing tensions within the Democratic Party, as President Biden's support for Israel clashes with the party's desire for a more restrained approach. The conflict in Gaza is intensifying these tensions and putting a strain on the relationship between Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu. The disagreement centers around the future of Gaza and the establishment of a Palestinian state. While Israel has strong support for tough action against Hamas, there is growing concern about the potential consequences. In a surprising development, the copyright on early Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse characters has expired, allowing anyone to use the earliest versions of these beloved characters without permission. However, Disney has clarified that more modern versions of the characters are still protected by copyright. This change is part of the U.S. copyright law, which allows character rights to be held for 95 years. Other works that have entered the public domain include Charlie Chaplin's The Circus and D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. Sports fans are gearing up for the college football playoff semifinal game between the Texas Longhorns and the Washington Huskies. The Texas Longhorns, led by star quarterback Michael Penix Jr., are favored to win according to ESPN's matchup predictor. It's sure to be an exciting game for football fans. Economists predict that Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co., TSMC, may boost wage growth in Japan. TSMC's new plant in Kikuyo, Kumamoto Prefecture, along with spending plans by other chipmakers, could lead to greater investment, competition for talent, and wage growth throughout the country. This development could potentially help Japan avoid stagflation. Tragic news of an 18-year-old student's death due to a combination of alcohol and ketamine serves as a reminder of the dangers of substance misuse. The student had snorted ketamine powder with a new flatmate during her first night at university. The combination of alcohol and ketamine proved to be lethal. The coroner has urged the university to review its induction course on drink and drugs. In the world of sports, Stanford's women's basketball team closed out their non-conference play with a dominant 98-38 win over Morgan State. The team's coach, Tara Vanderveer, is on the verge of breaking the all-time record for career victories in college basketball. The team's strong defense and ability to force turnovers were key to their victory. Good news for Clemson fans, as running back Will Shipley has been confirmed to have no structural damage or need for surgery after a scary injury in the Gator Bowl. Shipley stumbled and somersaulted during a kickoff return but returned to the field to celebrate his team's victory. He has yet to decide whether he will enter the NFL draft or return to Clemson for his senior year. The ongoing debate about meat consumption takes an interesting turn as research suggests that meat can actually be beneficial for our health if consumed in moderation and cooked properly. Studies have shown that reducing meat and dairy consumption without proper knowledge of alternative nutrient sources may increase health risks due to deficiencies in minerals like selenium, iron, and zinc. Additionally, meat consumption does not lead to an early death and may even extend life expectancy. However, processed meats like ham, bacon, and sausages have been linked to increased health risks. It's important to choose lean cuts of meat and be mindful of cooking methods to minimize potential health hazards. Former President Donald Trump is once again hinting at claiming election fraud if he loses to President Biden in the 2024 election. Trump accuses Biden and his administration of attempting to destroy our nation through various means. He also suggests that they are allowing illegal immigration to secure votes in the upcoming election. Analysts believe that overturning a loss in the 2024 election will be much harder for Trump compared to his attempts in 2020. Winning the election outright would be his most likely path back to the White House. C.J. Pearson, a young black conservative commentator, is making waves in the world of social media. At just 21 years old, Pearson has already garnered a large following and has appeared on platforms like PragerU and Fox News. His journey has been marked by shifts in his political affiliations, but he remains a prominent voice for conservative values. Hollywood's obsession with remakes and reboots continues, with the majority of upcoming blockbuster films falling into these categories. Studios often opt for remakes and reboots because they are seen as less risky, having already proven successful in the past. Money, as well as nostalgia and cultural shifts, are driving factors behind the resurgence of old stories. However, the film industry still has a long way to go in terms of inclusion and diversity. China's President Xi Jinping has exchanged New Year's messages with several world leaders, including US President Joe Biden, North Korea leader Kim Jong-un, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Xi emphasized the need for China and Russia to strengthen their ties and cooperation. Additionally, he stated that China's reunification with Taiwan is inevitable. Alabama football players recently tested their knowledge of their head coach, Nick Saban, in a trivia game. Some players demonstrated an impressive understanding of their coach, while others struggled to answer the questions. It was a fun and lighthearted segment that gave fans a glimpse into the players' relationship with their coach. Haruhiko Kuroda, the former governor of the Bank of Japan, has reflected on his tenure in office. Kuroda implemented bold monetary easing policies in an effort to end deflation in Japan. He is optimistic that the 2% inflation target will be reached this year in a sustainable and stable manner. Lastly, Mary Donaldson, a former Tasmanian real estate agent, is set to become the first Australian queen when her husband, Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark, ascends to the throne. The couple's love story began during the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, and now Mary will be known as Queen Mary when her husband becomes King Frederik X. That's all for today's briefing. As always, I encourage you to share your thoughts and join in the discussion. What are your thoughts on the strained relationship between the US and Israel? Are you excited for the college football playoff semifinal game? Do you agree with the research suggesting that meat can be beneficial for our health? Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the 6 Degrees world. Dr. 6. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.